Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about if you are a photographer and you are shooting a Nikaah ceremony in a masjid. Particularly, I'm going to be talking about Atlanta. We have a very famous, beautiful masjid, the Al Farooq. I love working at this, not a venue, but this beautiful sanctuary space, but it does come with a lot of challenges as well. So we're going to get into all of that, navigating everything. If it's like your first wedding there, what to expect. If you're not Muslim and you're shooting a nikah ceremony, you don't know what to expect, or like even just in general, that we're going to break it down for you so you have some knowledge. You feel more ready for it. You don't feel nervous. You don't feel like you'll miss out on moments. So this is specifically geared towards my photographers, videographers, and content creators, because that is another field that we're in right now. So if you are going to be, going to a masjid, you need to be aware of a couple of things. If you're female and you're a photographer, videographer, content creator, you want to be covered up. Like what I'm wearing right now would not fly, because they don't want you to show skin. You need to be covered up. Your hair needs to be covered up, and this is inside the masjid space. So like in the mosque itself, it's like you need to be very respectful. When you get out of the mosque, that's where you can take off the scarf. But if you're female, you definitely need to have that. You have to take your shoes off. So these are just like preliminary things. Aside from that, just like you can wear a dress, but just has to reach the floor. So no like legs showing, anything that's like see-through, unless it's like full sleeve and like kind of covered, you can get by with that. But you just really want to be respectful of their rules. So that's just like with shooting nikah ceremonies in general in a mosque or masjid. So if you're male, you don't really have to worry as much. Just make sure you have some good socks, because you will have to take your shoes off. So no holes in the socks and no like mismatched, unless you're into that. And then aside from that, my thing with working at masjids, and there's so many great ones in the Georgia area that I have shot at, but the most famous is Al Farooq Masjid. And I know this place because I have been going there as a child. I went to Sunday school there, so I've seen the evolution of it. I've seen where it started from and how it grew into what it is now today. And with that, I have also done a lot of nikah ceremonies where I've seen the progression of like where we could shoot everything. We had complete freedom, to now there being more rules and regulations. And honestly, this all comes down to the imam at that. What is that? What is playing? Hold on. This is very weird. Okay, that's really weird. My music just started playing and I don't even have anything playing. Okay, we're gonna cut back. So we'll start now. So I have been doing a lot of weddings there over the last, 15, 16 years. I've seen the evolution of everything. And basically what I've seen it come down to is that the imam has a lot of responsibility that he has to take care of. And for him to perform the ceremony, it's a very special thing. I really feel that he has to get in that mode for it. He's got a lot of things going on and he's doing it alone. So at this last nikah ceremony that I did, he had some help. He had a volunteer come help him. And I was just like, wow, you need to be with him always, because I just saw the level of ease he had when it came to being able to do his job. And then another aspect of that was like we had a planner. So planner could help work with them and like navigate with us where we can go, where we can't go. And it just made it very efficient. So if you're a photographer, videographer, or content creator, you want to suggest this to your clients as well. If they're having a nikah ceremony, maybe even show them this video and have them learn that like when you have these systems in place where you have like direct people that are working with the imam, it just creates a level of like peace where he can focus on the ceremony and the coordinators can focus on getting things in its place, getting everyone set up, making sure there's chairs around and all these logistics. Because also a lot of times people look at us as the photographers like, where do we go, what do we do, where do we sit? And it's like we can only guide them so much because we're usually shooting. So just a couple things to be conscious of when you are working at a masjid or mosque. You just want to be able to communicate to whoever is in charge. Ask them like, what is allowed, what is not allowed, what are you okay with? Some imams don't even come up to you, don't really say anything, but I like to just establish that connection early on and, like in a respectful manner, just be like, hey, I'm the photographer. If there's anything we can't do, just let us know. Like when you start with that intention, people are more receptive. They want to work with you. They don't like feel this immediate, like, oh my God, they're just going to be crazy and stuff. So like I always establish like a connection with whoever I'm working with at a masjid just to make sure that they understand what I'm there to do and I understand what I can do and what I cannot do. So one thing with Al Farooq specifically, we'll get into their rules and stuff, and this can change over time because this is just based on the last contract I had to sign. They make photographers sign a contract now saying that we won't take more than 15 photos, so very less photos, no photos inside of the masjid of the couple, like no couple photo shoot, not like what we used to do. Those days are gone now. We are respecting that. They want you to move outside, do pictures out there, which is a beautiful space so you can get amazing shots. And even when it's summer and it's so hot, or even if it's winter and it's freezing, it's like you have to kind of just make it quick and get it done, because that's what you're allowed to do. They don't want you to stay in the masjid. They don't want you to corral there and it turn into an event. That is not the vibe of these weddings or these ceremonies. The whole point is to preserve the sanctity of the marriage itself and like really, really hone in on that. It's all about, the sermon, the lecture, and then them signing the papers, and then like the moments they get to see each other, in the masjid. That is a really awesome moment of like when he comes to the bride and lifts the veil. So you definitely want to make sure you're ready and you're there for that. But once that happens and you get a little bit of like people congratulating, that's when you want to try to shift everyone outside. And what I've had to do is just like tell the bride and groom, like, hey guys, y'all just need to get your shoes and we need to meet outside and just start doing pictures out there. And if you do that, that just kind of moves everyone. But if you don't do that and you wait around, people just sit there, they collect, and then that's where like nothing gets done and it gets pushed, 2 hours. And we don't have time for that because usually they're trying to do nikahs on the same day of something else, like a reception. So we're trying to be in and out with it. So once you shift everyone outside, that's where you can focus more on a couple shoot. Another tip that I have is doing the couple shoot with the couple before people come. And this is something I just did at my most recent one where it was a morning ceremony, like an early morning, I think 11:30. So we planned to meet at the masjid at 10. So we got there, we're there to shoot. We do their entire couple shoot in 30 minutes. Then guests start to arrive, they're hidden away, and it worked out really perfectly because we got that time alone. They didn't have to worry about doing it in front of everyone else, but they got that time together before the nikah. So if you're okay not seeing each other, or if you're okay with seeing each other before the ceremony and kind of having that private time, definitely think about doing a first look or like a couple shoot. They didn't do a first look, they just did a couple shoot. And it turned out wonderful because we got so many high quality, amazing portraits before people came, before the ceremony. And then that way, after the ceremony, we could just focus on the family shots and like maybe like the ring ceremony or something like that. So if you plan with strategy, you can get a lot done. So I would give that recommendation to your couples too. Like, hey, do you want to do couple photos before so you get that time and then you don't have to stress? And then after the ceremony, you can dedicate that time solely to the family photos, because that's what's going to happen is nikah happens, people congratulate, people funnel out, people want to get lunch and talk and congratulate and hang out. And that's when we get into the whole formation of family photos where people come in, take a picture with the couple and leave. And that happens again and again. And we just want to make that really efficient. If you have a coordinator or planner that can help with that, that is great too, because you can give them a like that you can let them know like, hey, we are booked from this time to this time, so we need to get as many shots, and they can help guide you with that. So as a photographer, videographer, content creator, like you want to be able to preserve the moments in the best way you can, but we want to be respectful of their rules. So make sure you're reading all of that. If you're a videographer, you may have a tougher time because they do say no video cameras are allowed inside of the masjid. For this, we navigated it a little bit differently. We ended up using our cell phones and putting them kind of around and having one person do more creative shots with the cell phone as if like they're the videographer, like moving and stuff. So we shot in the right frame rates. We did all of that so we can at least put that into their final video and into their highlights so we don't miss out on those moments, because otherwise they were saying no video recording, and we're like, we're gonna miss the whole ceremony, and that's kind of, that's not fun for a couple to not be able to have that. So that made us think creatively. So if you're using the cell phone, what we did to ensure that we get the shots like nicely is like we made sure that everything was landscape, even though we want to go into portrait mode, because everything like for social media and stuff is portrait. If you're a content creator, you definitely want to go that route. But if you're just a videographer, getting that stationary landscape shot is going to be great, because you can integrate that into their final video and their highlights, and you can get creative in all those ways. So definitely some things to consider when you are shooting there, because you have to be very mindful of the shots that you take inside of the masjid, because they do limit you. I have not had them personally check, but for me, it's kind of like a principle thing. Like if they ask me to take less photos, I want to be mindful of that. And so I'm just going to take the photos that really stand out to me. So the signing, some general like wide shots so you can see what happened, and then the congratulations part, so I can narrow it down and get it really less. But you don't want to go overboard, you don't want to overstep the imam, you don't want to get intrusive moving around. For me, I talked to the imam's assistant. I asked him, like, I was like, I want to be clear, where can I go, where can I stand, where can I not be? And he gave me clear direction. He was like, you can be here, here, here. And I was like, okay, that's great. I can move around. That's fine. One thing he did mention is like making sure my chest was covered when I'm in the men's area. That's one thing. My scarf was kind of moving and my chest was showing. And I was like, okay, I need to be mindful of that. Also, just in general, if this is the first time you are shooting a nikah ceremony in a mosque, if you're female, you want to make sure your head is covered. It doesn't have to be fully wrapped up or anything, but just at least the top part. And then you want to make sure you're wearing full sleeves or just being more covered up. No dresses unless they're long dresses all the way down to the ground. These are just like key things that you want to make sure you're being respectful of, because they will not let you inside of the masjid. Like I could not go in what I'm wearing right now because that's not respectful to the religion. So I would not wear this over there. I usually wear like a full sleeve shirt and like pants, and I'm usually covered. So you just want to be very mindful of that when you're in there. When you're male, you don't have to worry as much. The only thing I would say for males is just make sure you have some clean, good socks and you're not having like holes in your socks and mismatch and that kind of stuff, because you do have to take your shoes off. So those are just some quick tips on that. Otherwise, with the whole thing with shooting at Al Farooq, honestly, if you can educate your clients, I would highly recommend you telling your clients, get a planner or day of coordinator for the nikah. And they'll want to kick back. They'll want to say, no, it's a small event, I don't have to think about it. If it is like 10 people, okay, you don't need a coordinator. But if you need a lot, like you're going to have a lot of people, a lot of families, a lot of moving parts, hire them for those hours. Get a quote. It's worth it, because it makes it so much more seamless when your photographers come in. And as a photographer, then you can communicate to the planner. They can let you know where to go. One thing with this planner in particular, she had a male counterpart that was helping on the men's side, that helped a lot too. So she didn't have to go running back and forth and she could focus on the women's side. So definitely having some option like that is great. And that way, because they had these planners in effect, because the imam had the assistant, that just made everyone way more receptive to us being there. And so even at some point, someone came up to me and was like, hey, you can go upstairs and take pictures. And I got a really awesome shot of like something I've never been able to do because I've never gotten permission. So some things you just want to think about when you are shooting your next nikah ceremony in a masjid is like communicating to your clients that, hey, you might want to consider having a planner, communicating to the imam on what's allowed, what's not allowed. You just want to be very respectful, honor what they're there to do, because at the end of the day, this is the religious wedding ceremony that makes the husband and wife like official in Islamic terms. So it's a really special moment. It's a really great opportunity for you to document some really powerful moments for your couples, but we want to do it respectfully. We want everyone to be happy. We want good vibes. We don't want anyone mad. And I think over the last few years, it was heading that way because people were taking advantage, myself included. I was doing couple shoots in the big part of the masjid. I remember when I could get my first shot there, I had one specific couple I remember, and I had them just turn to each other and hold hands and look at each other. And it had the big, the wall behind, and it just looked so beautiful. And it was a quick shot and it was amazing. And then we moved outside. But then over time, I think other photographers too started turning it more into like more production, like, oh, this is a backdrop. We can just like move here and do this and do this. Even I'm not victim. What's the word? I've done this too, where like I saw a cool spot and I was like, oh, I've never done that. And then I like try to put a bride there, and then someone from nowhere ran up to me and was like, they can't be there. And they started yelling at me. And I was like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. So now I know like you do not touch that area, because I was like, oh, it'd be cute if she's standing there and he's lower. But apparently that's a very like spiritual spot in the masjid that you do not touch. You do not like go around. But like, I didn't know. So now I'm like, okay, just tell me what I can and I can't do, and I will work with that, and I will be receptive, and I will be respectful, and then communicate this with my team so they know as well. So with my team, then I communicated with my videographers that, hey, we're not doing video cameras inside, we're doing cell phones. When we move outside, we're going to take out the real cameras, and that's where we can have the real footage. So I hope those tips helped. If you're a content creator, I feel like you're pretty good at just kind of being able to get everything, because most of the times everyone has their cell phone in there. So no one's really going to be telling you no. The only thing is just to be mindful of the photographers and be mindful of the imam, and like even going up to them and like saying like, hey, I'm going to get some phone footage. You could do that, but honestly, I would just do it because everyone else is shooting it anyway, and they're not shutting everyone else down. So just some things to consider. Hope you guys enjoyed that video. It's going to be, I think this was a quick one. I wanted to just get on here and kind of share all of that with the nikah ceremonies, with being a photographer, because there's not a lot of resources for this specifically. And I think a lot of people feel lost and they don't know where to go or how to navigate it. And I was like, if I can just come up with this quick video to kind of give some tips, I'll do that. So hope you guys enjoyed, and see you on the next one.